Hi guys, it's Renee. How are you today? Or tonight rather. As you can see, it's the evening. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. Thank you for joining me today. I would like to talk with you about some of the things that I have recently acquired into my possession as I go along this more exploratory journey for my renewed interest in perfumery. These are going to be a series of quick first impressions, mostly because these things are new acquisitions and I have not as of yet had the time to form a dedicated opinion about most of these fragrances. So there are some that I remain uncertain of at this time, but I will come back and let you know how I feel about it later. I will start off by saying that my scent of the day is this. This is Hardin exclusive by Mancera. A very lovely fragrance, very lovely. It is a citrusy, fruity, melon, pineapple type of thing with lots of citruses and some musk. I sprayed the backs of my knees as well with this because I like the trail that it leaves. But that is the scent of the day. It's quite appropriate, I think, given how hot it was outside. Moving on. So some of the things that I'm exploring that it's not things that I typically would think that I would like. But sometimes you can't always stay in the genre of what you think you would like, right? You need to branch out and try other things because you don't know what you don't know. And so in keeping with that, one of the things that I picked up was this perfume called Skin on Skin. This is by the brand Atelier, Parfumeur. They have a category of fragrances under that fall under the explosion of emotion category, and this is one of them. This is such a pretty bottle, you know? I will give them points for presentation. However, the juice that is contained within is the thing that I am still uncertain as to how I feel. I do believe that this is going to be one of those pretty complex fragrances that require repeated wearings for me to really give you a dedicated, like, I love this, I don't love this, I like this, but plus or minus. I don't know. When I first smell it and when I first spray it, I get a very plasticky, very boozy accord up front. It smells strongly of alcohol, but like very plasticky. And I have it here on my hand. I love the dry down of this. The dry down is this leathery, musky thing that is just super sexy. But it takes a little bit for you to get to that part of this fragrance. It is pretty long lasting in the couple of times that I've worn it. But that alcohol plasticky scent that is pretty apparent first up and lasts for a while. I don't know, that opening is rough. Per the notes, it says that there's a lot of saffron in here, which I suppose could account for the leather accord that you get. It's the opening is a little rough for me. I'm gonna be honest about that, and so I'm still working on how I feel about this. But I'm gonna wear it some more, and we'll see how it goes. The next things that I am uncertain as to how I feel just yet are these two fragrances, and this is Patch Flash, and Vanilla Flash by Tauerville. Now, Tauerville is a sub-brand under the Parfumeur Andy Tauer. He makes such cult favorites as Accord Desert and L'air de Désert Marocain, which are two amber fragrances that apparently if you love amber, you should really get your hands on at some point, or rather get your nose on at some point. And so he has this Flash series that includes the two that I've mentioned, Patch Flash and Vanilla Flash. There's also Rose Flash, Fruitchuli Flash, and Amber Flash. I'm uncertain if there are more than those. However, Amber Flash, which is the one that I really wanted, was unavailable. I'm not sure if it's out of production, but it's certainly out of stock on the Tower website, and it's out of stock on Lucky Scents with no note as to when it's going to be back in stock. I will hope that I have not missed that. But I picked up these two because I was hoping to get a better understanding of what patchouli can smell like as a dominant note in perfumery, and also what apparently real vanilla smells like. And the concern about the real vanilla is mostly because I have very sensitive headaches, and the vanilla that people use in general production in things like candles and whatnot tends to be a pretty synthetic vanilla. And so I have strayed heavily away from that type of fragrance because I was uncertain whether or not vanillic fragrances would give me a migraine. And who wants to buy a fragrance and spend money on it that you can't wear because it makes you feel terrible? So I picked up Vanilla Flash, and this has real bourbon vanilla in here. It is good. It is good. I feel cheated. I feel disappointed. I feel like, if this is what vanilla has smelled like my entire life, how is it that I'm just now finding this out? I feel like it was a conspiracy, a secret that has been kept from me. This is good. It is primarily a vanilla fragrance. There's a little hint of tobacco. There's some like citrus and some floral notes that like really just kind of disappear into nothing, and just leaves this sweet honeyed vanilla that just is divine, and it lasts and lasts and lasts. I've worn this maybe twice, but for the couple of times that I've worn this, it hangs around. And this is not one of those that you need to spray it on your clothes for it to really project. It does the job on skin by itself. I've actually also sprayed it together with this one, Patch Flash. We'll come into the second challenging fragrance. I am not well familiar with patchouli as a dominant note in fragrance. I'm familiar with patchouli as a supporting note in the background, really just kind of smoothing things out, a nice refined shy patchouli, it'll be over here, but if you need something, it's there, it's holding the whole party together. This patchouli is an in-your-face patchouli. It is hello, answer the door, I can hear you in there, hello. That's the type of patchouli this is. This is dirty. This is a dirty, earthy patchouli. It smells like soil. And green soil, like wet forest soil. That's what this smells like. And booze. A lot of booze. Again, this is one of those where the opening is very rough for me because I am not particularly inclined towards smelling like a wet forest. A wet, dirty, earthy, greenish forest. Not particularly inclined towards those things. Not even if you wrap them in booze. However, that fades. And what is left is this boozy, warm, cozy, vanillic patchouli that is just so amazing. I didn't know patchouli could smell like this. It's the type of honeyed thing that like the dry down looks like what, smells like what this brown thing looks like, like something just this smooth and ambery and honey. It is good. It is good. The issue that I have with this is that this is a beast. This little thing here, I don't know, this is Eau de Parfum, but this behaves like an extrait. This is concentrated. I believe there's like 40% patchouli oil in here, and it acts like it. This is not for the faint of heart. If you are uncertain about patchouli, you don't know what to do with an earthy, dirty patchouli, maybe don't try this off bat. I would say maybe work up to this. I'll come back. I'll come back and see how I feel about it. But I will say that much like the Vanilla Flash, this fragrance lasts a long time. Like a couple days, long time. It does not quit on the job. There's no clocking out early for this, okay? There's no clocking out early. The last thing that falls in line with the things that I'm trying out that I'm uncertain about is this fragrance. This is a fragrance by Ramon Monegal, and it is called Kiss My Name. It is inside this container, mostly because this is what happens to the top. It's a magnetic closure, but it's a light magnet, so if you pick it up by the top, it just pops open. It's an ink bottle, by the way, and this is a fragrance called Kiss My Name. I was introduced to this fragrance by Miss Eva Monroe via a video of hers, and she was pretty enamored with this fragrance. And Ramon Monegal has several fragrances that I've been meaning to try out, but I thought I would give this one a try, given that Miss Eva seems to like it a lot. This is a white floral fragrance, and the note that is particularly centered in this fragrance is tuberose. I don't mind the tuberose per se, but she's accompanied by her two other sisters, Gardenia and Jasmine. And Jasmine in particular is something that I must be careful with. Jasmine is very heady for me, as in straight to a headache heady. And unfortunately, that is what happened with this fragrance. I think I oversprayed and I ended up with a migraine. With that being said, I do think that this is an ultra feminine, floral, like intoxicating perfume. I can see this leaving an exquisite trail and probably a bunch of hearts on the ground behind it. It's good. It's good. I am just not there yet. The next time I wear this, I'll have to go easy on the trigger. Easy on the trigger. And I am not one for easy on the trigger. I'm hashtag team heavy spray. So we're gonna have to work out those problems and do better next time, because this fragrance, also in the limited experience I've had with it, does not like to go away. She's hanging around. She's hanging around. Okay, she's waiting for her money on the table. She's hanging around. So go easy on the trigger. That is Kiss My Name by Ramon Monegal. All right, so on to other things. So I wanted to explore the house by Tiziana Terenzi, and I bought two fragrances by her. Well, before we get into that, let's talk about this one. This is a fragrance by Philosophy called Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere. Now, this is just a sweet, honeyed, burnt sugar thing that is just so warm and cozy and inviting. It's all the things that I like in my fragrances. I wear this to bed. It is amazing as a fresh, clean skin, clean, fresh sheets, your most comfortable slinky pajamas. And by slinky, I don't mean short or sexy. I mean just like things that feel real smooth and real good against your skin. Comfortable but sexy if you want, you know. I support you in this. But comforting, and that's what this is. It's so good. I will not do a dedicated video on this because I have no intention of caring about the sillage, the projection, the duration of the length of the fragrance. I don't care. I wear it to bed, and that is its purpose in life, and it fulfills this purpose. So far, I am loving it. I have a very firm opinion on that one. I love it. Moving on. So we'll talk about, actually we'll talk about one other before we get to the Tiziana Terenzi, because it does not fit in the what is rapidly approaching. This is a fragrance by Stephane Humbert Lucas of the 777 line. This is called Soleil de Jeddah, which means son of Jeddah. Jeddah is an Arabian city. Arabic city, actually. I said Arabian as if it's a country. It's not. It describes a region of the world. This is a monster. A monster. There is a word that describes this fragrance, and it is bombastic. This fragrance does not quit, does not quit. So if you are uncertain, if you do not care for the things that compose this fragrance, you probably should leave it alone, because it's not clocking out early on the job. She's here, she's getting overtime. Know that she wants her money, okay? She's working, she wants her money. So this is osmanthus, citrus, tea, and leather. And it doesn't change much, on me at least, the couple of times that I've worn it. I wear this to work a lot, and by a lot I mean I've worn it 3 times. I've not had it long, so the fact that I've worn it 3 times says a lot. I am a fan of this fragrance. I'm fairly established in my opinion of it. I'm a fan. I don't know if this projects or has much sillage. I would imagine that it does, because I can't stop smelling it, and I'm smelling it through my mask. So I imagine that others smell it. Actually, that's not true. I did have several of my patients tell me that they liked this fragrance, which that, you know, lets me know that they're of a discerning type. It's nice. I will say that there are portions of the world, particularly in the Middle East, that this is not a unique type of fragrance, right? These types of fragrances are very common throughout the Middle East. I do have some Arabian fragrances here as a part of my collection, and so it reminds me a lot of those types of things. So this is a bit expensive, so if you're after something in a similar vein, I would say perchance go to your local Arabian perfumery, or check out the House of Rasasi, Latafa, Swiss Arabian, Arabian Oud. There are others. There's an, I think it's ASQ is the abbreviation, but I cannot think of the actual words that make up those those letters, so I will not butcher it just yet. But there are others that are cheaper that will offer you the same feel of that type of fragrance if you don't feel like shelling out the money for that, even though this bottle is sinful. There's another one by him that's on my wish list called Mortal Skin, but it's like $290 or $350 for 50 ml. Listen, you can gift it to me. Moving on, we'll talk about these Tiziana Terenzi fragrances. This one is Gold Rose Oud. I have heard a lot about this house, but I have not explored it until I picked up these 2 fragrances. And I went with this because I thought this would be a pretty safe buy for me, because I love oud. I have yet to meet an oud that I don't like. Even the animalic, it smells like pee, it smells a little bit like poop at the beginning. Yes, I like those ouds. Particularly like when you round them out with something tobacco-y, honey, good stuff. I love it. So I figured this was a pretty safe buy for me, blindly, because I know that I love oud. The thing that I was most uncertain about actually was the rose part of it, because roses tend to, certain types of rose scents tend to give me migraines. But this is a patchouli, jammy rose, but somewhat dry rose too. It's not one of those syrupy sweet rose. And oud. Those are the things that I get primarily from this fragrance, and I will say that I am not at all unhappy about it. This is a fragrance that speaks well to a lot of the things that I love. I will not say that it's particularly warm, nor will I say that it is particularly inviting. But it's very much like an introverts unite separately type of fragrance. While we all smell good and look good, it's that type of fragrance. You should be dressed well. And by well, I don't necessarily mean suit and tie or like your ball gown or that thing, but you should certainly be well put together and kempt in your appearance. Should you wear this? This is not a casual, let me just throw on something type of scent, you know? Don't kill the vibe. Just, you know, dress according to what the scent denotes. And it denotes someone who is well put together and confident. Well, I feel like if you're wearing Oudh, you should know automatically that like confidence is required, right? Because Oudh is not an easy thing to pull off, especially when it's not the refined, toned down Oudh that is used in most Western perfumery. I like it. I like it. This is a somewhat restrained but not very polite Oudh. The next fragrance that I got from Tiziana Terenzi is a Laudano Nero. Now this is in keeping with the rest of the fragrances that I picked up, because this is an amber fragrance and I am an amber head. I have been on an amber kick. I intend to to own as many amber fragrances as I can possibly get my hands on and still be considered to be a somewhat sane person. Now, what I have discovered from Laudano Nero is that this is not a safe fragrance for people to blind buy. I blind bought it, but don't make my mistake. Actually, this is not a mistake for me, but you know, it could be a mistake for those who do not care for tobacco, smoky, ash, and heavy, dark fragrances. This is dark. Like Batman could jump out of the Batmobile, go kick Joker in the face and smell like this, you know, minus the blood and the insane maniacal laughter. This is dark. This is it's nice though. This is, I could happily smell like this the whole rest of my life. I have worn this once because it automatically went to the back of my collection with the things that I love a lot, and therefore somehow in my head that translates to I need to preserve them so I don't wear them as often. It's insanity. I know, I get it, but like I smelled it out of the bottle and I already knew that this was it for me. This was what I was looking for, and I would happily smell like that for the rest of my life. I am loving this. I don't care about the sillage. I don't care about the projection. I don't care if anybody doesn't like it. I like it. I love it, as a matter of fact. My God. It's also pretty boozy. It's also pretty boozy. It's a boozy, dark, smoky amber. Sexy. Sexy. It's sexy. It's like Bruce Wayne when he's not pretending to be an empty-headed business mogul. When you have to debate whether or not Bruce Wayne is the mask versus Batman. It's that kind of sexy. Moving on, we'll come to this beauty here. You see the little flecks? See the flex? Yeah, it's pretty, isn't it? This is a fragrance by Atelier des Ors, and this is the Larmes du Désert. Larmes du Désert. Atelier des Ors has 3 fragrance lines. They have the ones in the blinding white bottle. Well, it's clear bottle with a white background with these little things like starlight that project out. Those look white, and it's a white cap, same gold flex. And then it has a gradiated blue bottle with a white cap, same gold flex. And then it has this one with this gold liquid and a black cap. And this is the one that I love. This is an incense and amber woody fragrance. That is, it doesn't change much. There are some who will find that the fact that it is a fairly linear fragrance displeases them. But I like, one moment. Sorry, my mouth's getting dry. I like the consistency of this, mostly because it's pretty, it's expensive, and it is comprised entirely of things that I like. So therefore, I am happy for it to be a somewhat linear fragrance because it stays consistent within the things that I like. The incense, though, is fairly heavy at the top of it. And as the fragrance dries down, the incense goes away, and it's more of a woody fragrance supported by incense and supported by amber. I will say that of all the things that I have purchased recently, this is the one that I have worn the most. And I am not sure why, because of all the ambers that I have, this is not the one that I thought I would be drawn to the most, you know? There's something that is meant to be warming here, but is not quite as cozy or inviting as I typically like my ambers to be. And yet I cannot stop smelling it. I just love it. Like, I'll walk into my little perfume closet and just like pick it up and put my nose on it. It's heady to me, but in a good way. In a good way. I like it a lot. Moving on to the last couple. The one that I you will find that I have fairly firm opinions about the ambers, because I love them all. I love amber. This is Ambre Tabac by Daniel Josier. The name is what it is. It's amber and tobacco, rounded out by a heavy amount of vanilla and benzoin. This is a sweet, syrupy, tobacco-y goodness. It's gooey. It's gooey. I would be careful with this one. In the hot weather, this potentially can get a little cloying, because it is so heavy, sweet, and syrupy. But I love it. I love it a lot. It's good. It's good. I can see this being a winner during the winter. Like, when you need something warm and cozy, you spray this on your scarf, wrap it around your neck. Listen. Moving on. This is Ambar del Sur by Carner, or Sarner de Barcelona. Sarner, Barcelona, rather. C-A-R-N-E-R. Sarner or Carner. We'll see. And this is a somewhat dark, resinous amber. There's almost like something citrusy at the beginning, but it fades super quickly, like out of here. And it's mostly just resins with amber. It smells a little incensey, a little bit, and woody, but it's good. It's really good. This, to me, is a fairly heavy amber as well. Heavy in the same keeping that this is a heavy fragrance. Heavy in the same way that Laudano Nero is a heavy and dark fragrance. But this is less dark, but and less heavy, but in a similar type of vibe. It's just good. And of all of the ones that I have here, this is the one of the ones that is not as sweet. It's more of a balsamic, resinous type of amber, more than a syrupy, sweet, gushy type of amber. And last but certainly not least, which is perchance the best, is this gem by Histoires de Parfums, and this is Amber 114. Can you see? Yes, Amber 114. This is, to me, a very versatile amber. I have worn this several times in the high heat, and it has done well. It lasts a long time. I don't know if it projects. Everybody's wearing a mask. I didn't really smell it unless I checked for it, you know? So I cannot speak to that as of yet. Plus, I've only worn it twice. But this is a warm, syrupy, yet sort of light amber that is heavy on the vanilla and benzoin, but spicy, very spicy up top. You must like spices because the spices don't go away. They just kind of fade into the background a little bit. And then the vanilla and the benzoin come forward, but the spices do kind of stay. And I really like this. I think it is, of all the ambers that I have acquired recently, it is the most versatile one, and it is the one that I'm enjoying a lot. But we'll see. These are all first impressions of the things that I've acquired recently. So I want to thank you for spending some time with me while I gushed about the perfumes. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope you are always out there smelling great, baby. Bye.